attention that you receive, the things that you do in this world to gain attention in another person's eyes, no matter how reckless it is, or how far it is out there, it'll get you in trouble or whatever. If it makes them talk about you, it's a good thing. So I want to talk about that real quick, and what I want to talk about is how what is good and what is bad, and what is it that is a waste of time, and what is it that will actually fulfill a person's life. Now, I can talk about this because I have lived it, I have experienced it. I was a person that I used to live my life in the most reckless, fashionable way, just so that I could gain approval in your book about how you saw me. And if I smoked more, if I drank more, that would gain more favor in your book. You would like me more, or whatever. You would talk about me. You would say things like, "Oh, you're crazy, bro. Yeah, you're whatever." You would compliment me. And so in school, I would do all the wrong things, skip class and get in trouble and get in fights, and just look for opportunities to go to CSI and detention or whatever. And so I saw that as a glorifying message that I was sending out to the people, that I was a rebel, that I was an outlaw, that I was somebody. And so I was trying to gain an identity in this person. But what was happening to me was I was deteriorating my own self from within. I was losing my own soul. I was losing my identity. I was decaying and withering away from the inside, because the more I got into trouble and the more that I walked into this darkness, the more I lost myself, confused myself. I was like disoriented. I was dizzy. I was like, whoa, where am I? I found myself later on in life being in actual hell, in actual prison, in an actual situation where I was getting whooped on by demons. And I had brought myself to that situation simply because I was trying to be the best at being the worst. I wanted everybody to like me for the bad deeds that I would do. I would drive against oncoming traffic. I would drive on the sidewalks, and I would get all this attention from people saying, "Damn, you're crazy, bro," this and that. And so that would fuel me to do bigger and crazier things. I should be dead. I'm a person that I should be dead by all accounts, but God kept me alive. So I did all these things that were getting me into trouble, and I was getting all this attention, but I was getting the attention in wrong ways. My mom was suffering, crying in her bedroom. My grandparents were staying up at night seeing if I came home that day. My sister would cry because I was hurting my mom. My brother was lost as well in the streets. And so this was just a lifestyle of darkness and evil consuming me. And so I wanted to get out, but I didn't know how to get out. But at the same time, it had consumed me to a point where I was so insecure about who I was that I didn't want you to think that I was soft. I didn't want you to think that I was weak. I didn't want you to look at me and talk crap about me, because I was just like that. And so I would walk this lifestyle even though I was depressed and suicidal, and even though I didn't have anything going for me in life. Didn't have no job, didn't have no school, no education, no nothing, and everything for me was just reputation and how I looked to you. That was the reason I was alive, is how you perceived me, and my reputation had to be spotless. I had to be clean, and I wanted people to talk about me in a way where they would talk about Scarface, like the movie Scarface, Al Pacino. I wanted to be like the top dog of people that you would see and you would give dabs to and have respect for, and all the rest. And so I was working for that, and I was working for it diligently, daily, putting myself in situations where I had guns to my head and this and that. And so I would get myself in a lot of different types of trouble. I would get myself kicked out of strip clubs, kicked out of clubs, kicked out of everywhere I would go, because I would act belligerent and whatnot. And so where all that got me, where all that attention-seeking behavior got me, was later on in life, I would just isolate myself in my room. I wouldn't even go out. I would just watch a lot of TV and do drugs and alcohol in my own room and just be by myself. I didn't even want it anymore. I grew cold. I grew weary. I was very angry. I was resentful. I was hating society, hating myself, hating everything. I would punch holes in my walls. I didn't want to live. And so, because all these things that I had invited in my life were eating me up from within me, my conscience would tell me, just convict me and tell me, don't do that, don't do that. And I would go against my own conscience. And then I would feel so regretful. I would feel so like condemned. I would feel so like lousy inside that I would have to go to the liquor store and grab something to drink so that I could like just like down a bottle so that I wouldn't have to hear the voices in my head, because they were so loud, they were driving me crazy. So I would go to sleep at night, and for a long time, like 17 hours sleeping daily, every day. I didn't want to live. I just wanted to close my eyes. I just wanted to forget that I was alive. I just wanted to forget that this world existed. I wanted to forget everything, because I was trained as a little boy into thinking that being bad was good. And so I wanted to be very good at being bad. I got into all types of trouble, all types of fights. I carried guns on me. I would, the whole 9 yards. I got into witchcraft. I got into Santeria. They did jobs on me to try to help me, and that only got me worse. It only got me even crazier. And I found myself just being like completely laid out and saying, wow, I have ruined my life, and now how am I going to fix it? This life is destroyed. I have destroyed my future. I have destroyed everything about my life. How can I ever fix myself? I can't. I need something to help me. I saw therapists. I saw psychotherapists. I saw all different types of treatments, rehabs. I saw I went to church, and I did all these different things, and I just couldn't find the solution to my problems. I kept popping pills, I kept drinking, I kept smoking, because I couldn't deal and cope with my own self. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't have a conversation with a person because I was going crazy. I would just sit still, and I would be like, I gotta move, I can't sit still. And that was me. And then I basically, later on, I tried to get an education, and my mind wouldn't let me. It would just be constantly running 1,000,000 miles per hour. Everything was going so fast. Even if I ate, I couldn't even enjoy my meal. I would eat at such a pace that before I knew it, everything was gone. And everything was just misery for me. I just wanted to die. And so later on, I started going to church more and more. God started to deposit in me the truth. God had sown in me the truth, and the truth was that Jesus could set me free. And I didn't know how. I just said, Jesus, if you can set me free, then set me free. But it didn't happen like that. I was looking for it to happen that way. I said, God, if you're the truth and you can set me free, then set me free. But it didn't happen like that in my life. It happened in a different way. I started to go to church, celebrate recovery. I started to talk about my problems in recovery, and Jesus Christ started to work on me in my heart. But most of my problems was letting go of the drugs. The drugs had consumed me. The drugs had me paranoid. The drugs had me in fear and turmoil, full of doubts, full of insecurities. The drugs had me going crazy, and I couldn't see out of my own eyes. I was a zombie. I was dead. And so how could I get out of this life that I had created for myself? I started to pray and pray and pray and say, Jesus, help me, help me, help me, Jesus, help me. And I felt like nothing was happening. So I wrote myself a suicide note. I said, enough is enough, man. I don't know what to do for myself. This life is just destroyed. I felt like I was in hell. I felt like I was, filled with demons inside. I was so angry. I was so full of turmoil and grief. I just didn't know what to do with myself. I wrote myself a suicide letter. God had me to erase that letter. He had me to erase that letter the day after I wrote it. And I said, God, I don't want to erase it. What if I change my mind and then I want to kill it? I have to write it again. I remember even writing the suicide letter, I was going crazy. I was like, does this make any sense? And I would erase it and rewrite it and erase, because I didn't even know what made sense and what didn't make sense anymore. I would, love you one day and hate you the next day. I would push away the people I loved and receive the people that would do me harm. It was backwards. Everything was bad for me, and I didn't know how to receive any kind of help. Last but not least, in the very end, what I have to say about this whole situation is that at age 25, I got baptized. I got delivered from demons. For 8 hours straight, demons were coming out of me. 8 hours straight. I went to Holy Land Experience, and like 6 to 8 Christians came up to me and started to deliver me from all different types of demons that had entered into my life because of what I would do daily. And so they were delivering me. All these demons were coming out of me, and I was coughing, I was throwing up, and I was going crazy. And I was like, wow, but at the same time, I felt better. Each demon that left my life, I would feel better. I would feel like, oh, I could breathe more now. Oh, look, the pressure in my head is I felt like there was so much pressure on my head, so much that I felt my brain was gonna explode. And so when the demons would come out, I felt better. I felt better. I felt better. Each demon that came out, I would feel better. I would feel better. And so now I got baptized over 11 times because I was so dirty. I was so filthy. I was so I was so consumed with the other side that I felt like I was so unworthy of God. But God was the one that was calling me. God was the one that was telling me, Michael, I came down here to earth for people like you, for people just like you, the sinners, the worst of them. I came to earth to die in your place so that you wouldn't have to die. You see, Jesus Christ came for the worst of them, and so I was the worst of them. And so God, rescued me. Jesus rescued me. I got baptized. I started going to church. I started to receive the good things in life. I got rid of pornography. I got rid of Tupac, Bone Thugs. I got rid of all the slasher movies and all that stuff. I got rid of all of it because I was told in church, get rid of everything that reminds you of your past. I got rid of everything. And I started from fresh. I started listening to only Christian music, watching only Christian TV shows. I started to retrain and retrain my mind just from scratch. And over a period of time, I felt better. 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 The light started to shine in me. I felt better. I stopped hanging around with the friends that I would hang around with. They would make fun of me, and then I would be like, but what do you have that is so special? They would smoke weed and pop pills and do cocaine and get in fights and spend all night playing poker or whatever. And I did that for years and years and years. And I said, okay, you're making fun of me because I'm trying to help my life out. I'm trying to become something in life. And I'm being made fun of, and you're in the same place that you were 10 years ago. You're still in that same place, but I'm the one being made fun of. I thought that was hilarious, but I disregarded that. I kept walking with Jesus Christ. I kept walking with Jesus Christ. I kept walking with Jesus Christ. I kept doing what he wanted me to do, which was just go to church and live, just live going to church every day. And then what happened to me was I started to be cleansed from all this evil that I had inside of me. And then the friends that I used to hang around with that were making fun of me, they watched me. And guess what? They started to see changes in me. I got my girlfriend at the time became my wife. She bore me 2 children. Then I got an efficiency. The efficiency became an apartment. I started off with no car, but then I got a Honda 98. Then the 98 Honda became a 2006 Nissan Sentra. These were all gifts from people in church that were giving it to me. Gifts and blessings were coming into my life. The Nissan Sentra became a Lexus 2007, which is this car right now. It's a beautiful car. And so I am a testimony of from hell to heaven. I'm a testimony of the evil, dark life to what God has for us. And if you need God, repeat after me. Say, Jesus Christ, come into my life. I make him my Lord and my Savior. I'm done with this life. I want to renew my life. I want what you did for this gentleman. I wanted you to do it for me. And I don't want to continue in this life the way I'm treating it. Help me to make the right decisions in this life. Help me. And he'll help you. That's what I did. Get baptized, get into a church. God bless you. I love you.